Hi, I'm Olivia. I'm the Southern Yankee Stitcher, and this is my Flosstube number 13. Today is November 7th, Sunday afternoon, and this week I feel all I've been doing I feel like is things for veterans. Today we had a Veterans Day parade in our little town, and I was part of a float on there. We're doing a thing called Wreaths for America, where you place wreaths on veterans' graves, and so we kind of promoted that in the. It's a way to honor veterans, and so we kind of promoted that in the parade. And I walked in the parade, and that's why my hair looks like it does. And curly hair, you can't just comb and fix it. It's it's a thing. If you have curly hair, you know. But it's like 70 degrees here today. It's beautiful. It's colder earlier this week. It was pretty cold a couple of mornings. But we had a time change, gained an hour last night. So I was up the crack of dawn and was able to pull out some things I wanted to share with you today. So I guess we'll just go ahead and just get right into it. Today I am talking about Christmas stockings. I've made stockings for everybody in my family and my immediate family, my husband and my children, grandchildren. And it's kind of been a thing. And I'll just start talking about them. I actually found kits for all of them except the most recent, which I know is somewhere. I just cannot put my hands on it. My oldest daughter turned 30, so I stitched this in 91, or early 92. I'm not sure if she had it for her first Christmas, but I know she had it by her second for sure. But I think she had it by her first Christmas, but I don't know. I couldn't find it in the video or a picture or anything. This is the stocking I made for her. This is the chart. It was a kit from Bernat. Is that how you say that? It's called Santa's Arrival. And yeah, I just stitched it just like the kit. Just like the kit showed. And it's pretty good. I think I did a pretty good job on it. I loved it. And I didn't use, they all come with like cheap felt. I didn't use felt. I used red velvet on the back. This is the trim that I probably would not do again. It's kind of metallic-y looking green, and that's what hangs it too. And you kind of see some of it kind of pulled out over the years. It's been around 30 years, so. But it's a great tradition to have those and be able to pull those out. I love it. This one's for my son. He came along 2.5 years after my daughter, my oldest daughter. This is a kit by NeedleForm. It's called Charmables Christmas Collection. This is the kit. I still have the patterns in here and leftover floss that I didn't use. I've left it in there. Kept it this long. And so here's his stocking. And you can see it has a couple of little charms on there. Well, let's see. It has 4 little charms, hearts on each of the reindeer's collars. And then a little bow down here on the teddy bear. So that's one I did for my son. He goes by Chris now, but we call him CJ. We still call him CJ. And I used some green velvet on the back, and then the same kind of red trim that I went ahead and used for the hanger. And so we had just those two for a few years. For each of these, I did line the front. I lined the stitching just with a white cotton. I didn't attach it in any way except for sewing it at the seams. But I didn't want to be able to catch the back of my stitching on anything I put in their stocking, and rip something. So my youngest daughter came along how many years later? 7 years later. And so I did this stocking for her. And it's Holiday Time Woodland Friends is what it's called. behind the chart and everything, you know. I guess if I wanted to do one again, if I had to, I could. But this is hers. This is kind of iridescent, the same kind of trim. And it's showing up blue, but it's very, wow, it's showing up like navy blue, but it is very purple. I don't know how to, what light to get this in to show it purple. It's purple. So take my word for it. And I didn't line the velvet, I just lined the stitching. Again, just white cotton. So we had these three for the kids, and then I thought, well, maybe my husband might need a stocking, you know. So I did one for my husband. Well, I went to do his, and this is the kit. Right here. And I looked at it and said, wait, this is wrong. All of the other stockings, the toes point the other direction. See that? They all point the opposite direction. So I said, I don't want to have one that's pointed the opposite way. So this is dated 96. I did it way after 96. This was an old chart. I did it after my daughter was born in 2000. So I took the pattern and I went to a copy shop and I had them make a reverse image copy so that everything, you know, was reversed so the toe would be pointing the right direction. Okay? Because as you see, the other three went this way. I had to do a reverse image. And of course, I'm stitching out of season. It's not Christmas time, but I'm stitching. So I spent a lot of time and I stitched this up for my husband. Guess what, y'all? My husband said, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" I said, "Yes." Well, the pattern, the picture is this way, but the pattern was the opposite way. And I didn't realize it. So when I made my reverse image copy, I made it match the picture, not the chart. I wanted to cry. I really wanted to cry. This one, this was a lot of stitching in this one. And I had the same silver trim stuff that I just don't like now. Navy blue, velvet, and just plain cotton inside again. They're all the same. So I'm like, well, I'm not doing it again. I'll tell you that. I'm not doing that again. I'm not going to stitch it again, meaning. So I didn't even realize until today that the picture was wrong. I thought my memory was wrong with the way that the kids' stockings hung. Now I realize I wasn't as crazy as I thought, that the picture actually was wrong. I just found that out today. Dang, that's like 20 years of thinking I was wrong. Anyway, so then it came time to do my stocking. Well, you know how it is. Mom's always last with everything. Isn't that how everybody is? Mom always gets things last. Well, I stitched one up for me, and this is by designer is Joan Marchi, JCA Incorporated, made in the USA. Needle Treasures. Has a lot of other languages on here. I don't know, but this is the kit for my stocking. Well, I stitched my stocking up. It didn't take me, you know, I know probably we went at least 1 year with just my husband's and I didn't have one, or I had another kind of stocking. And then I started stitching mine to hopefully have it up by the next year. Well, that didn't happen. I got the cross stitching done, but to fully finish it took years. Yeah. It became the running joke at Christmas time when we hung the stockings up. Especially my son loved, and my husband did too, but my son still says it today. Oh, where's your stocking, Mom? You don't have a stocking? And then, you know, now that I have one, I did finally finish it. He'll say, "Oh wait, you have a stocking? I didn't remember that stocking." Well, I did finally get mine done, and this is mine. It really should say Mama more than Mommy because they call me Mama. They don't call me Mommy. Has a lot of metallic gold in there. I couldn't find the same kind of trim, but I found something the closest I could and used that. It's actually better than the other. It's still not great. Again, I just lined it with plain white inside. I still have the form where I cut out a pattern, so I can use that to cut out the white. So it took me years to get that up, but I finally got it up. This one, I did a reverse image copy so that it would match this one, so that Mom and Daddy are on one side of the fireplace, and then the three kids are on the other side facing us like that. That's the best I could do. I was so mad. Just mad, so mad at myself and I wanted to cry. I was like, I knew I remembered it. Oh goodness. So my son said something. If you, well, my oldest grandson. Oh, this little curl I'm seeing right here is crazy. And I'm letting this gray grow out. Ugh. My youngest grandson is 4. He's about 4.5 now. My oldest grandson, excuse me. The youngest is 2.5. And back with the 4-year-olds, one of his first Christmas, I don't know if it was his first Christmas or maybe a second Christmas, said something about, my son said something about stocking. I said, how do you do those, Mom? And I said, well, you just buy a kit. It's cross stitch. It's not that hard. It just takes time. And I said, do you want me to make one for him? And he's like, no, I don't want to ask you to do that. He said, I want to make it. So, and I said, is your wife going to make it? And she was like, no, I'm not stitch. And he said, I'm going to make it. Well, at the time he was going to college, he was working, get baby. He did not have time to stitch a stocking. So, it didn't get done. And I know he just didn't want to ask me to do it. And I wasn't stitching at that time. Well, then I began to stitch. And back in, I guess it's probably about February of 2020, I asked him again about the stockings. I said, why don't you let me make stockings for the boys? And he said, I don't want to ask you to do that, Mama. I said, well, I'm offering. I'm not, you're not asking me. I'm offering. I said, I'm stitching again. I'm looking for my next project, and I would love to make stockings for them. And he said, well, that would be great. And I said, well, let me send you some pictures of some stockings. You pick out ones that you like. So I screenshot probably 20 or 25 stockings, and I put them in a thick stitch. So it was just a little picture of all of them, on a big collage. And he picked out 2 of them. And I said, well, which is for which? And he told me. And so I started stitching them, and it went pretty good. The first one, well, I'll tell you about that in a minute, but the first one is called Backwoods Santa. It's by Stoney Creek. I haven't stitched these other things. They're pretty. I might, but I just did the stocking. And I changed up a few things. Well, first of all, if you see here, Santa's wearing camouflage pants. And also this border right here is camouflage. I wasn't crazy about that. you know, if my husband or my son were outdoorsmen, hunting, fished, and you know, wore camo for that, then maybe. But my son wore camo when he was a Marine, and he said, I really don't want to wear camo again. You know, after you wear a uniform, you have to wear it so much. He was like, I'm done wearing camo. I really am. So I didn't want Santa to wear camo. And I wasn't crazy about his brown boots or his green mitten. So this was the first time I charted something, and I changed it to my likes. And this is the stocking I did, and I recharted his pants in reds, the same reds that were used in his shirt, and I did his boots and made them black. And I used, you know, several colors like they did in everything else to kind of give it some shading. It wasn't perfect. I didn't stitch it exactly how I charted it. I kind of, you know, changed a little bit as I went along. But I had a couple other problems with this. Well, it told you, this wasn't a kit. It was just a pattern. And it told you what size Aida you needed, how big to cut your fabric and everything. And all the other stockings that I did are also on Aida. So I wanted them to all look the same. So I cut my fabric, and I think this is the first project I used a Q-snap on. Before that, I would just use a hoop. But I used this Q-snap, and I started at the bottom and worked my way up. This is how I went. I found when I use a Q-snap, I need a bigger margin on my stitching, and a bigger margin than they called for. So I realized when I got up about to here, I thought, oh my gosh, I've stitched all of this, and I'm going to run out of fabric. Because my margin down here for the Q-snap to wrap it around, it's the first I ever used one. I probably could have wrapped less fabric around it, but I didn't even think about that. It did not even occur to me that I needed a little bit bigger border than I would with a hoop. So, oh my gosh. It's another case of I am not redoing this whole stocking. You know, if I would do it for anybody, I would do it for my grandchildren, for sure. But I really did not want to do all that because, you know, these Stony Creek charts have a lot of shading. They have a lot of back stitching, and I love the way it looks when it's done, but it takes some time. It's not like some of these other primitive things I'm stitching that you don't have to have all that back stitching that, you know, takes extra time. So anyway, my plan was to cut it off right here, like at the top of the moose's antlers, and not do the cabin or the sky. I'll cut it off right there. I'll put his name. It'll be good. Well, then I decided I'm just going to stitch his name on a separate piece of fabric. Well, that's what I decided first. I was going to stitch his name on a separate piece of fabric, and I would just join them. And that's what I did here. That's the piping right here. But I still thought it was going to run short. So I thought I won't do the cabin. I'll just, you know, end it with the antlers. Give me another inch or so. Well, as I was stitching, I thought, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. I had to take it out of the Q-snap and stitch in hand to do this up here. And these called for just half stitches. You know, tent stitch, just one leg of your cross. I had never done those kind of stitches before until it called for it on this. I did full stitches. I did full stitches all the way across in the sky. Half stitches probably would have looked good, but I had never done those before. So I had to take it off the Q-snap because I was running out of fabric and to stitch those up there, and I'd stitch them in hand. Well, whenever I backstitch, I also backstitch in hand. they went so fast. I thought, because I was stitching him with the sewing method, you know, and that's how I backstitch with the sewing method. I guess everybody does. I don't know. I always have. So I don't mind backstitching because it goes pretty fast, but I mean, it does add to your stitching. So after I did this, y'all, I haven't gone back to a Q-snap or a hoop. The only time I used a hoop is when I had to do a little 1/1 stitching, and I used a hoop for that because the floss wanted to slide under the weave, you know. So this turned out good. This is a black piping here, and I thought it was good because it matched the bear and the boots and everything. And then you can kind of see there, it's a dark green velvet. And I couldn't find any piping that was green, but that black, it blends in so much. It kind of fools your eye, and you think it's green, but it's really black. Did the same thing, just simple. Didn't line the velvet, but I did line the stitching. Did a better hanger, no trim, just the piping for trim. And I like this so much better. I like the hangers way better. And I wasn't going to change, I want these back up. I wasn't going to change this trim, but I thought I could end it and make a new hanger. Make a hanger like this, a little more substantial. And I said something to the kids, and they were like, no, don't change them. Don't change them. They want it just the way they were. So I'm leaving them. I mean, I know what it's like to have a memory of something. You want it to be just the way you remember it. So that's for my oldest grandson, Christopher. We'll use these last Christmas. And then my youngest is Jarrett. And this was, let me show you the pattern first. It's another Stoney Creek, Woodland Critters, and Snowman stocking. There's a little difference between this one and the one I did. Let me tell you. I'm all about trying to be equal with my kids and my grandkids. At Christmas time, you know, especially when they get older, it's really hard to be equal. So I just kind of categorize gifts, big gifts and small gifts, or medium gifts. And they all have the same number of big gifts, medium gifts, and small gifts. Well, when I got done stitching this, it looked like this, okay, compared to this. And I thought, this one stitched up so fast. I mean, it is a white snowman on white Aida, but you do stitch the white. And it does show up because it's back stitched. But I felt like I was shortchanging this grandson because I put so much time into this one. This was almost full coverage. So I added a tree. Here you see what the pattern is, and here you see I added a tree there on the side. Well, I had the flosses that I had purchased for this tree over here. And I thought, I'm going to do something just kind of like that. And I did. Actually, I started out and I brought the green all the way down. But you didn't get any of the outline of the tree because here the snowman's in front of it. And the bunny's in front of it. It just looked like a green blob. So I frogged out the bottom of the tree from here down and put in a stump. Well, not a stump, a trunk. Trunk. And I felt like that looked a little bit better. I liked it a lot better. This has red piping. I did the same thing. I didn't have to on this one. I had my fabric, but I wanted them to look the same. So I did join two pieces and use the red piping, which matches the red velvet. Oh, it's orange on the camera. Gosh, it's so crazy how those colors change. It's a bright red. And I thought it turned out pretty cute. So here they are. for my two grandsons. Their shape is a little bit different. That's how the pattern had it. The pattern had them a little different. So you just kind of went with it. All right. So the next stocking is for my daughter-in-law. I mentioned I was doing the stocking. I showed you the pattern last week, and I can't put my hands on it right now. I know it's around here somewhere because I've been working on the pattern. I have the actual pattern. I don't have the picture from the front of the kit. It was a kit I purchased. If you go back to last week's video, you'll see it there. Well, I got out the kit last Sunday, and I stitched on it, and I did a lot of stitching. It says, paper behind it. It has a ribbon that says Peace on Earth and then two angels. One at the top, one at the bottom. So this is the Aida that came with the kit. It tells you to start in the middle, so that's what I did. Found the middle, started in the middle. You know, if you're unsure about how big the borders are, that's what you do. Or you count every block, and I don't count every block. I'm stitching on this, y'all, and guess what? It is going the wrong way. The toe is pointing the wrong way. It matches the one for me and my husband, not the one for everybody else. So I stopped. And the ribbon kind of goes, it says Peace on and then Earth is how it goes. If I did a mirror image, it's not quite right with a mirror image, because like the way the ribbon connects, I don't know how to describe it. The way it connects, if you're reversed image, it's not like a continuous ribbon. It doesn't make sense. I don't know that anybody would look at it that hard and realize that, hey, that ribbon doesn't, the words aren't all on the same side. They're flipping sides. It's kind of what it is. Like half of the Peace on Earth message is on the front and half of it's on the back. It's kind of how it would do if I kept this just like it is. You have an angel at the top, angel at the bottom. I wish all the manufacturers of stocking kits would make them all go the same way. Have all the pictures correct. They all go the same way, because, like I told you, till today, I didn't realize that it was the picture that was wrong on that chart, not the chart. And I was going to recommend to everybody, hey, look at it and make sure it's pointing the right way before you buy it. Because this one, I can't do a mirror image and have it work. I can figure it out. I have literally, I made some copies, reverse image copies of the chart, and then straight, just exact copies of the chart. And I'm going to try and, like where the angel went down into the toe over here, I reversed imaged her so she would come to the toe over here. But this part up here is going to be a little complicated. So I'm literally going to sit down and cut and paste that pattern to get it where it's going to work. Somehow I'm going to make it work. I might have to just trash this and start all over. I'm not frogging it out. It's white Aida. I can get white Aida. Super easy. So, I mean, has anybody else had that problem? I couldn't believe it when I saw it. And I had stitched all that. I thought, because I even thought to myself, I am not going to make the mistake of changing the direction and having it wrong. I'm going with whatever the chart says. Because until I pulled that chart today to show you, I didn't realize that it was a picture. Anyway, so I'm sitting there stitching on it, and I'm thinking, I think this is wrong. I think this is wrong. And I was like, I think I should second guess myself and, end up correcting something that's not wrong. So I was going to pull the stockings out. I keep them in my cedar chest. Instead, I had a picture from last year. I think I went to Instagram. It was the easiest place for me to find a picture of the stockings. After I made my grandson's stockings last year, I put it on Instagram. So I realized it was wrong earlier this week. I guess it was Monday. I realized it after I'd stitched on it Sunday and part of it in Monday. So, I'm sorry, I'm clicking my pen. I don't even realize it. I have not had the brain power to sit down and do that chart, the literal cut and paste. It's not going to take long to stitch that stocking. It really won't. It won't take long at all. But I got to get it straight, and I'm kind of beat today. After the parade and everything. I don't think I'm doing it today. Hopefully one night this week when I come home from work, I'll be able to do that. And I can, if I have to restart it, like I said, it's not a big deal. I can do that. So, that's all I have about stockings, but I have some happy mail to share with y'all. I have had so many kind comments the last couple weeks from you all, and emails and messages. It has blown me away. Saying, can I send something to you? Or just said, I sent something to you, it's on the way. I mean, the stitching community is just really so kind. I can't thank you all enough. Last week I shared with you a picture on my phone of one of my first winners, and she had some beautiful stitching things in a picture. I didn't realize it was her floss drop that she was trading. So I sent her some floss drops. Well, she sent me some of hers first. And this is like punch needle in the middle, and then felt or felted wool for the petals on the outside, and then the flower frogs used to hold scissors in there. Just pretty stuff, and then you write your stuff on the back. But not only does Patty H sent this to me, did she send me that, but she sent me something else. Like, she sent me a message saying your package should be on the way, and I just thought she meant the floss drops. I really meant to have this on for this video to show you, but I'm wearing patriotic things. I have stars on my sweater and stuff for the Veterans Day parade. And Patty made this beautiful necklace. Let me show it to you here. She blows glass and made that. Look at that bead. It's got like roses on it. My youngest daughter Emily's middle name is Rose, and she saw it. She was like, "Roses." I was like, it's mine." No, I would let her borrow it, but she made the whole necklace, but she actually made the bead. I couldn't get over it. I was blown away. I couldn't wait to show my family that somebody sent me something that, it was so unnecessary, but so appreciated. It made my day. It really made my day. I was so excited. Then, I don't know how to say this word. I asked one of my daughters to pronounce it for me, and she did. Okay, I think I remember how to do it. This is from Melinda. These are her floss drops from, I think it's Laniope Designs. Is that right? Laniope? Melinda Thomas. And then she's got this sampler. I think this is a sampler. I forget what it's called. But Kindred Stitcher just got that sampler. Was asked to review it, I think. I just watched her video this morning. And then this is a close-up of that piece. And she's got her design name on the back. She's got an Etsy shop. I'm pretty sure that is Laniope. The screen here. Sorry, y'all. Laniope Designs. So we exchanged floss drops. That was so kind. She's in Lawrenceville, Georgia. I haven't checked out her Etsy shop. These came this week, and I just haven't had a chance to do that. But I will. And then these others are from Jennifer Cerda, C-E-R-D-A, Jennifer Cerda. So kind. And another pretty card. And these are her floss drops. It's her Instagram on there. She already has them punched. Well, that was pretty. Pretty scene there, the old sign. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And I have some others that I'm planning. I sent out a bunch. I sent out all of the floss drops that I had. And I had to place another order. So that was cool. They went fast. I didn't really think it through. Well, I guess I didn't really know how many people normally traded. I guess most people said they traded about 10. That's what I was doing. One person I was only able to send them like 5. That's all I had left. I dressed all my envelopes, wrote my cards and everything, and and stuffed them with the floss drops. And I had got some floss drops from Brenda of Brenda and the Cereal Starter. Well, I only had Brenda's address, but I intended to send some to Laura too, because they're kind of a package deal, are they not? But they ran out. And I already sealed all the others up. Not that I would take away from somebody else, but I thought Brenda's going to get them, and Laura's going to say, "Who? Well, she forgot about me." Well, I didn't forget about you, Laura. I have some. They came in the mail. I got them. I got them in the mail yesterday, but I didn't get them out of my mailbox till today. My grandsons were here, and I just didn't go get the mail. I fixed them a little bit so that when I punch down here, it's covering up, what's not pretty. But also, more importantly, when I punch here, it's not going to cover up the words. And when you punch the top, it won't punch into the stitching picture. Because it was off last time. It's really kind of hard to judge that the first time you order. I think a lot of people make corrections to their second order, probably. But I do have another whip. Of course, the stocking, the piece on their stocking that I had to stop on until I can get that chart figured out, was one of my whips. I did a lot of secret stitching, and one of them is a full coverage piece. And I may have mentioned you, and it's like 6 by 9, something like that. And it's taken a while to get that, and I ran out of floss. So I placed an order with Fire Poppies. They're in South Carolina. I'm in South Carolina. Normally, if I order from them, it comes pretty quick. So I'm hoping that I'll get it quick, because I really want to get this stuff done. But my other whip is the Rocky Springs Schoolhouse Sampler that I charted up. And I had done like the alphabets, I think last week. Well, this week I went on and just me the way I'm looking at the screen. I got the roof done and the outline of the building. This is what it's going to look like, and it's going to have some shadowing and kind of texture in the building that will help bring it out. But that's the outline. I still have not cut my fabric. It's doubled right now. I'm going to wait till I'm done stitching this whole thing before I cut that fabric. I'm thinking I'm going to wait till it's all done. But I don't know. I was contemplating adding something to the border. It's kind of plain. I'll just have to see. Because I do have these big trees in there, and that's going to help, you know, add to it, change it. I'm not in a real big hurry on this. I don't have a deadline, or, you know, I don't have to gift it to anyone or anything like that. So I am working on my secret stitching first. But while I'm out of floss, I'm stitching on that one right now. Well, winners. Giveaway winners. I'll have 3 today. 3. My winners from last week claimed their prizes. And, but the one for the Buttonheart Sampler, sorry, my husband just pulled in and stepped out of the truck. It caught my eye. The Buttonheart Sampler, no one ever claimed that. Person never claimed it. So I'm going to draw again for them. And I kept all my little pieces of paper, my little random comment picker, and I don't think I had any new comments that had the word button in them. So they are all still in here. This is what I used that week, and I just left them in there. I've got all these containers in my craft room right now because, you know, I'm trying to reorganize it, but so much going on. I have 2 big events for veterans. One on the 11th coming up Thursday, and then one the following Thursday on the 18th, and then December 18th. But like, I'm in charge of the ones that are this week and next week, so I gotta get over the hump on those. And one of them I have to do like a speech. I'm not a good public speaker. It's not like sitting here talking to my computer. It's not. I might be giving a little. I might be at least introducing people at the bigger event, and I don't even want to do that. All right. So this is for the Buttonheart Sampler. It's for that pattern, and 2 DMC flosses, the variegated floss, and the red one and the blue one. And those are what I used. I used this pattern and all to do a patriotic piece, which I've shown you all a bunch of times. I don't think I need to show you that again. So, the winner of the Buttonheart Sampler, and hopefully we'll have somebody claim it this time, is Clara Rigel, R-I-G-E-L. I'm sorry, not Clara. Carla Rigel. C-A-R-L-A-R-I-G-E-L. Carla, you were the winner of this pattern from a few weeks ago. I hope you're still watching me, and if you are, send me a message with your address. You can send it to me on Instagram or to southernyankeestitcher@gmail.com. On Instagram, I'm Southern Yankee Stitcher, so I shouldn't be hard to find. I'm going to write your name down right now so I don't forget. All right. Let me see which is which. All right, the next one is the My House Kit by Little House Needleworks. Along with all the flosses, DMC flosses. And you had to say the word house. I have a different one here. I really am one day going to figure out how to do the random comment picker, but I just didn't feel like doing that. Diane Swan. Diane, you were the winner of this chart and floss. Ooh. So message me on Instagram or email me at southernyankeestitcher@gmail.com, and I will get this out in the mail to you along with some floss drops. Then the last one, I had a viewer say I cracked her up with this thing. A few videos ago, I talked about mounting the piece on here with a magnet. That's why this is in my craft room. I don't use this in my kitchen. It's vintage. But I have a bunch of names in here. I said this is my... This reminds me of like a bingo thing. Hold on. I gotta pick these up so everybody has a fair shot. That's what I get for fooling around, isn't it? So anyway, I'm just gonna pick one out. My parents used to call, my dad used to call bingo at our community center. My mom would work it. All right. I've seen this name a few times. The winner of this next kit, Snowy Winter. Put this box in here. By Little House Needleworks. Isn't that cute? With the DMC floss. The winner of that one is Sharon Mahon. Sharon Mahon. Man. I know I'm saying that wrong. I'm sorry, Sharon, but you won. That makes it better if I'm mispronouncing your name right. Did I put this name in? Alright, I gotta write these names down. Alright, so Carla, Diane, and Sharon, message me with your address, please. And I will get those out to you. And like I said, I will send you some floss drops too. If anybody else would like some of my floss drops, this is them. With one of my favorite. This is my favorite. And with my information in the back. And you can put your thread brand and everything on there. Just to make your stitching a little more special. To have some floss drops. Just send me your name and address and I will get those in the mail to you too. I love sending. I had such a good time writing just little notes. Some of them, if they had sent some to me, I maybe thank them for what they sent me, and then some of them I just said happy stitching. But it was fun to do that. I had some old cards that I've been in my stash from way back when I scrapbooked, and they had my initial on them. And I bought them at, I think, a thrift store for cheap. Somebody had made them. They weren't great, really. It just kind of had a sticker with my initial on it, but I was like, oh, I could probably use these. Probably use these cards, and I have a lot more cards. My mother had a whole box, pretty big, like shipping, post office shipping box, full of unused cards. It was Christmas cards and just all occasion and blank cards. And so I'm trying to really use what I have and not waste so much. So the Christmas cards, I haven't sent Christmas cards I'll take that back. I sent them last year because I had a photo card done of my grandsons, and it was real sweet. But other than last year, it's been years since I sent Christmas cards. But I'm going to write a lot of those Christmas cards to send to military members who are on active duty, who are deployed. Send a Christmas note to them, and I'll use some of those other cards to send some things to you if you all want some floss drops. So my plans for this week are to hopefully get in that floss so I can work on these sticker stitching and get it done. I have to work on this chart for this stocking and figure out how to get it in the right direction without messing up the pattern. I don't even know how to tell you to avoid doing that, except if you see it in person. But most of the time you can't see the chart either, so I don't know. And I guess that's about it. That's about it. That's all my stitching plans. I'll work on my Rocky Spring Schoolhouse. I am going to pull back out the what's it called? Christmas is Coming by Shakespeare Peddler, and get working on that so I can get that done. And the piece I finished last week, George Decorates for Martha, I need to fully finish that. But I need to put my initials and the dates, the year on that piece, and I haven't done that yet. I don't want to forget to do that. I did it on my. I noticed today that I put a date on my grandson's stockings, and I'm glad I did. I wish I had done that on the other stockings I did, because it would help the picture come together about how many years it was till I got my own stocking and stuff like that. Anyway, I recommend dating everything. It certainly won't hurt, and it can just help you. You know, when you look back on things. Anyway. I'm looking around here, and I think that is it. I don't have any giveaways today. I will. By the end of the year, I'm going to have some giveaways. Quite a few giveaways. I have some things planned. It's something that I'm charting myself. Well, I have charted myself, and I want to have it stitched. So that's kind of part of my secret stitching. I haven't started it. Right now I'm doing things that have to be wrapped up for Christmas. I forgot to get those done. But the others I want to give to you all for Christmas. So anyway, I hope y'all have a great week. I'm going to have a busy, crazy week, but I'm looking forward to it, getting some of these things, events that we've been planning accomplished. So I will see you all in about a week. Take care.